Welcome, it's Facts You Don't Know. If it's your first time here and you want to find out new facts that will definitely make you smarter and more, and first make sure to subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss anything.
Sometimes fate brings two people together in such an amazing way that some stories are even hard to believe. No one knows where these two lonely people meet, by chance or because of fate. But in an instant, all the puzzles are put together in one big picture. And then no one has the power to change anything. This is how you can describe what happened to this girl named Natalie. The girl was born in a prosperous and wealthy family. Her childhood passed in her homeland in Sweden. And after finishing school, she moved to Paris, where she graduated from university. Life turned out perfectly. Higher education, later work as an actress in Amsterdam, and by the age of 29, she was a director and art director of an entire theater in Vienna. It seemed like everything in her life was planned to the smallest detail, except one thing. The girl was lonely due to her work schedule, tours, and business trips in the countryside. She was never able to find the man of her dreams, and when all of her friends had already been married for a long time and had children, Natalie passed long, cold evenings alone. Of course, men paid attention to the young woman, but maybe she hadn't met the right man for her yet. It was 2003. Natalie was already 29, and in a week her birthday was to take place. But for some reason, this didn't make her happy in any way. To forget about her sad thoughts, the girl decided to arrange a little vacation for herself and go to the Amsterdam countryside. Once after a busy day, the girl was sitting on a bench, waiting for her friend with whom she planned to spend the rest of the evening. She watched passers-by and couples in love, and somewhere deep inside she felt envy seeing them. She was bored because there was no person with whom she could share good and bad moments in her life. And at that moment she made a wish. After all, it would be her birthday soon, so who knows, her wish may come true. It was a wonderful moment, which was spoiled by a poor fellow. Natalie noticed an approaching poor man. Usually upon seeing such people, the girl ran away from them, because she was afraid of the poor man. With every step, the homeless person came closer to the girl. And Natalie seemed to freeze. She couldn't move. The man turned out to be a young man, despite the fact that his whole face was almost covered with a beard. He was dirty, and his smell wasn't good, and she could smell him from far away. Coming closer, he asked what time it was, although there was a huge clock opposite the bench. The girl looked at him in bewilderment and immediately answered, 5:30. As Natalie recalls now, it was something inexplicable. I never made such acquaintances. Moreover, I always stayed away from them. But that day I can't explain it. The guy's confidence was almost striking because there was such a social difference between them, and he was not at all embarrassed and continued the conversation. Since there was enough time while Natalie was waiting for her friend, she did not drive the stranger away, but decided to talk to him a little bit. Word by word, they started talking, and the girl felt that it was very easy for her to talk with him. He understood her perfectly, and she could not stop looking into his eyes. It was strange, but she felt very comfortable. And the man was also looking at the beautiful girl. The conversation lasted for no more than 10 minutes when Natalie's friend approached. All this time, people looked in surprise as this couple, before leaving the homeless man, named Victor, jokingly made an appointment at the same place. After 5 days. His confidence was astounding and exciting. Of course, the girl did not plan to come on the appointed day, and most likely this poor farmer would also forget about it. But the next week, she couldn't stop thinking about Victor. Walking slowly, he decided to pass close to that same shop in order to watch from afar whether the man would come to the meeting, and surprisingly, he was already sitting there and waiting for Natalie. Their next meeting was just fine. They talked a lot about life and got to know each other better. Natalie now recalls with a smile, the homeless man got ready and even washed up a bit, but his hands and nails were terribly dirty. He arrived on a small, almost childish bicycle, and he was holding a suitcase, which, as I thought, was only possible for lunatics. Then I found out that inside it was a sleeping bag and a can of beer. It did not work out as he planned at all. He had come from Russia. He had no parents. Whenever he got small earnings, he would waste it on alcohol. And he admitted it was a bad habit, and he couldn't do anything about it, so he ended up in the farm. Moreover, he'd lived in a park for more than a year. Victor understood that he was just a homeless alcoholic. But when he saw Natalie, something inside him changed. Since that day, he's not had a drink at all. They talked until late into the evening. Victor had an incredible sense of humor, and the girl felt very easy with him at the end of the evening. Natalie said that she was returning to Vienna the next day. The girl did not know if she'd ever meet again, and she left him her phone number, as she was polite, and she left in Vienna. The girl didn't stop remembering him, a kind of holiday romance. But he's in Amsterdam and she's in Vienna. On the day when Natalie turned 30, the telephone rang. In her house, the girl reluctantly picked up the phone, expecting to hear another congratulations. But instead, she heard Victor's familiar voice. Her heart started beating faster. He just said, "Hi, I remember that you had a birthday, so I decided to congratulate you personally." The girl expected to hear simple words of congratulations, but the man, to her surprise, said that he wanted to go and visit her. Then, in bewilderment, she understood that he was near her house. He asked how he'd come, and Victor answered, "I arrived by train." He planned to come 2 days earlier, but the man was detained by police for a non-paid ticket in a store. The girl remembered that day her whole life, because since that time, Victor and Natalie have been inseparable. The man settled at the girl's house and started looking for a regular job right away. From the moment of the first meeting, Victor absolutely did not drink any alcohol. And in a month, he changed so much that no one could see a homeless person in him. This handsome man could not be the same poor person from the park, having overcome many bureaucratic delays. In 2 years, Natalie and Victor got married. At first, the guy worked as a farm worker, and in 6 years, the couple had twins, until the man took this as a challenge. Now he has to work even harder because he felt much more responsibility as a man and father in the family. He started a small farm. 15 years have passed since then. The couple's doing well. The children know their parents met, but still do not understand the details. They just found it funny that their dad used to live in a hut near his farm. Subsequently, Natalie wrote the book, How to Fall in Love with a Man Who Lives in a Hut. After all, she literally found her happiness under the bush together. They appeared on the Russian channel and gave an interview where they talked about the book and the story of their love, as Natalie herself says, for all these years. "I've never regretted that I came to that meeting. We've never even fought, as he is such a husband that I've dreamed of all my life. Each of us has our own love story. We're connected with those who are our partners, and this story is the best proof of this." Friends, that's all for today. Write your opinion about this unusual couple. Also, rate the video, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks. We'll be right back to you as fast as we can.